I guess to a younger me and to my little sister and to all the young girls out there, you are not to chase a man.
I'm looking for somebody I can call. Looking for the only one I can get my own. Tell me that it's true.
Hey guys, welcome back to She Talks Unfiltered. So I just wanted to hop on and talk about something that I came to a realization about while having a conversation with my sister. So we're just gonna hop right into it. We were in a car ride, just like talking about like relationships and boys and stuff. And we had like a very long conversation about just like being accepted and like finding somebody that like puts in that effort for you, someone that goes searching for you, that just like pursues you. And I think this is something that goes deep, especially in this generation, because first of all, I feel like we don't even know how to be friends with one another. Like when it comes to like social media and stuff, I feel like we think we know one another because we're seeing each other post on like Instagram, Snapchat, like wherever, TikTok. We think we know who that person is because we're seeing bits and clips of like their hobbies and things that they like to do, when in reality we don't know anyone at all. So one thing I always wondered was about like dating. I personally felt it was impossible to date online because you're getting like a snapshot of that person, and if you've never really met that person, it's scary. I feel like it's definitely scary because you don't really know what you're getting into, and then the person you think you met is just not the person you're actually meeting. And then there's obviously all the horror stories that we hear about, people meeting people that they didn't know they were meeting, like catfishes and all that stuff. So I don't know. That's a whole different topic for another time, but already I feel like we already have a barrier to connection with one another, whether it be in friendships or whatever the case may be, just because of social media and the phones and stuff. What people used to be doing to connect, we're no longer doing because we think sending like a text message, hey, I think you're fine, is enough. It just never was. Regardless, my sister's in high school and she was just telling me about like how things are, like how the dating scene is like, and how the boys act and how the girls act. And as an older sibling, I was giving her advice like, oh, here's how it was when I was in high school, here's how it is now in college, relationships, tips, all that. But while talking to her, literally while speaking, the realization came to me. So when reading like the book of Genesis in the Bible, we see that, disclaimer, Genesis has been one of my favorite books as of late because there's so many topics about like man and women, 50-50, who does the pursuing, who does this, who does that. And I think you won't find a better answer than in Genesis. Like Genesis shows us how it was supposed to be like when a man and a woman come together with God in God's agreements. Here's what it looks like, at full maturity and, just like beautifulness. So, I was thinking about Genesis and about how God created like the garden and everything in it. All the trees, all the animals, all the nature. In terms of survival, Adam had everything he needed to survive. He had food. They didn't wear clothes, so they were naked. So he didn't need the clothes, but everything he needed to survive, he had. So think about it in modern day time. So today, what do you need to survive? You need a home. You need food. You need clothes. So put yourself back in that position. He had all of that. And then on top of laying everything out for him, God gave him a task. You can go through and name all of these animals. You have power and authority over everything. So Adam had a job. Adam had a purpose. Adam had a work. When I think of a man that is ready, I try to think about, one of the things I think about is Adam. Adam had the things he needed to survive and upkeep himself, and he had a life's purpose discovered. What does he want to do? What is he going to do? What is he here to do? And he was here to control and monitor everything in this garden. All right. So even when given everything he could possibly need, everything he could, he's the king of the jungle at this point. Even when given everything he could possibly need, something's missing. Something's not right. And he says, all of these animals are partnered up in twos, male, female, all this, but then where's mine? That to me spoke loudly, because it was like, even when Adam had it all, without the woman, he felt like he had nothing. And so to Adam, Eve was everything. And when you just sit back and you're just like, damn, like before he even met her, before he even knew what her name was, what her title was, any of that, before she was even there, she was already his everything. So it wasn't about the way Eve looked. It wasn't about the physical assets she had. It wasn't about the way she spoke, the way she did her makeup, how much money she had, where she went to school. It wasn't about any of that. It was just, he knew he needed something. He needed a mate. He needed companion. He had his purpose, and yet he wasn't fulfilled because he needed companion. Someone to enjoy everything that he had with him. All right, so then Eve comes into the picture, and Adam is like, whoo, this is blood of my blood, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. This is me right here. He's talking to God like, you did that with this one. This is me. This is us. And my dad pointed out to me yesterday, he's like, you people, like in this moment, Eve hasn't said a single word. Eve hasn't said a single word. And we know Eve can talk because later on, I think it's Genesis 3, the fall of man, I think. I'm not sure. We see Eve conversing with the serpent. So we know Eve can speak. But when Eve shows up to the scene and she wakes up and she's just here, she ain't say a single thing while Adam is gassing her up like, this is me, this is us, it's me and you against the world. And she's not saying a thing. Adam loved that woman because when he had everything, he didn't have her. And so he had nothing. That was beautiful to me because I think a lot of the times as women, or I'll speak for myself, I be feeling like I got to show up a certain way. I got to do a certain thing. I got to operate in order to be who the people around me want me to be, or how I should show up in like relationships and stuff. And I was telling my sister, like, when a boy becomes a man, he may have everything in the world, but until he has a woman to love, it'll be like he had nothing. And to find his everything, he will pursue her. He will look for her because he will know she is the missing piece. He would have already known what he's looking for before he found her. So when he found her, he will say, this is bone of my bone. This is me. This is us. And that's huge because I feel like the way we date doesn't even reflect that anymore. We're out here standing in dating lines. Like telling people, what do you work as? What do you do? Oh, you're a real estate agent? Beep. pop the balloon. Hello? Like we've like stripped dating and looking for our life partner down to like a checklist of like assets, physical looks. Like we're trying to pick somebody that looked like everybody else and then wonder why we can't find our person. You're dating everybody else. You're looking for everybody else. And so it's like, I don't know. But I don't know what that says to you. I don't know if that does to you what it did to me. I just feel like it meant so much to me because I think that's really what makes a difference between a boy and a man. As a woman, I will never know what it's like to be either of those things. But I just feel like when we're looking at Adam should, after Christ, I should say, after Christ, Adam is an example of a man. I feel like Adam was an imperfect Christ. And I don't mean it in a blasphemous way. I don't mean it to like try to compare Adam and Christ. Not at all. We know what Christ is to us. But like looking at Adam, the very first man, the prototype, is just like he had a purpose. He had his resources. Mind you, they were given to him. But he had these things. God gave him these things. He had a relationship with God. He knew who God was. So when it was time to find himself a woman, to find what he was looking for, he went back to the source. God, I need me a woman. Isn't that just like, that is such a beautiful story in and of itself that it just blows my mind. God, I need me a woman. And then when she showed up, we're not even told that they conversed. We're not even told that they had a conversation. They got to know each other. So what career do you do? So what's your favorite plant? Like none of that. He just seen her and was like, this is me. So I guess to a younger me and to my little sister and to all the young girls out there, you are not to chase a man. Like we're done doing that. When a guy wants you, he will find you. He will be looking. He will pursue you. You won't be confused because he will act the way he feels about you. If you're dealing with a guy that's confusing you, it's because he himself is confused. And if he's confused, he doesn't know what he wants. And if he doesn't know what he wants, he can't lead you. You can't submit to him. That is not a man that can do anything for you. That is not a boy that can do anything for you because he's confused. So it's just go read Genesis. Go read Genesis. I would say 1, 2, and 3. And when we get to the fall, we see like a nasty side of Adam. We see a nasty side of Eve. And I think that just goes to show the nasty side of humanity, period. Everyone has flaws. You're not going to find a perfect person. But there's a lot to say about love and the way men and women should operate towards one another. And I guess we're going to talk a little bit more about the role of a woman when Eve shows up to the scene in another video, and maybe even like a little bit more about the role of a man. But I was just thinking about the conversation I had with my sister, and it was just like Adam had everything. Adam had everything he could have possibly wanted, and he didn't think it was enough because he didn't have Eve. And I forgot what pastor this was that was preaching. He said, if you have everything, what is the one thing that could be taken away to make you feel like you have nothing? Something along those lines. And he says, once you've identified that thing, be grateful for that thing. Give thanks for that thing. And honor that thing. Because without it, you feel like you have nothing. And that's what Eve was for Adam. It's like even after they got kicked out of the garden, they still went and built a life together. And yeah, I know at this point, they're the only two humans on earth. So it's like, who else you gonna be with, But it still was like, it still was just like a beautiful story of like him picking her, him pursuing her, him looking for her. He didn't even know what it was going to look like to have a companion, but he knew I need companionship. And I think in this generation, everyone's trying so hard to be cold-hearted, like, I'm chasing the money, I'm chasing the bag. And that is one of the most unattractive things to me personally, because I just feel like it's dehumanizing us to a point. Like, if I say we're like animals, it's an insult to the animals, because even animals know they need companionship, at least at some point. So it's like, everyone's like, I'm chasing the bag, I'm going for the money, I'm going for this, I'm going for that, I don't need nobody, I got me. And I guess at one point I was there too. Like, it's out of pain, it's out of rejection, it's out of like, I went for something, it didn't really go for me, and now I'm upset. So now I'm going to just cool off everybody. I understand, and if you're hurt, I pray for healing. But it's the most unattractive thing to me, us trying so hard to be heartless and to be mean and to just like tear each other down, because it's just so unnecessary. If you're looking for love, just say that. Just say you're looking for love. And somebody else who's looking for it will find you. And y'all will meet in the middle. But Adam had the bag. Adam had everything. He had a whole garden. He was king of the jungle. I'm talking about he's telling the lions to sit down. You know what I mean? He still was just like, I don't want none of this if my mate isn't here. A man, a true man, will pursue you. He will find you. He will know what he needs and what he wants. And I don't say this to say that as women we don't put in any effort, because we have our work cut out for us. When we investigate and see the title Eve was given, we will see that woman, we have our work cut out for us. Like, we're really the backbone. We're really that girl. Every woman is really that girl. But a man won't make you feel like you have to compare to these other things here, to these other people. I don't mean things, to these other people here. He won't make you feel like you got to change something about you. He won't make you feel like you're not enough. He will validate you. Once Eve showed up to the scene, he was like, this is me. This is bone of my bone. True men know how to love. To love is to lead. I think that's what it means when people say like men are like the leaders. Women have to submit to men. I think what it means to submit, part of what it means is to receive love, to be loved. Because there's a verse in the Bible that says like something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, of like, women, submit to your husbands, and then husbands, love your wives the way Christ loved the church. Christ was crying in the garden. Christ was gutted. He was sliding down a wall. You know what I mean? He was sliding down a wall. But here we are, 2024. We got women standing in line to men popping balloons. We got women crying. We got women fighting other women. We got women betraying each other. We got women chasing men. We got men in their soft man era. I don't know what is going on. Like, truly, I think a lot of men are missing leadership. Like, they don't know what they're supposed to be doing, how they're supposed to be doing it. And then a lot of women just miss the assignment, period. Me included. I'm right there with you. We missed the assignment because our Heavenly Father did not say, come down here and do this. He did not authorize this. And I'm going to get into our dating practices probably in another video, but like, we don't know how to date. We don't know how to love. We don't even know how to be friends. We don't know how to be there for one another. We don't know how to be human. To be human is to love other humans. To be humans is to look for a purpose and then to try and achieve that purpose with companionship. To be human is to have a relationship with your creator, because you did not create yourself. To be human is to know that if you are a child of God, that you are a king, a queen, a prince, a princess. a god, a goddess. Like, there's value in you. And so there's no reason as to why you should be devalued by anyone or anything else. It starts there. If I could tell little me something, it's just that there's value in you. There's value in you. And somebody will be seeking with all their heart that value in you, what you bring to the table, to the point where you would never have to compete with anyone else because they were looking for what you have in you. And so even when they don't even know what you look like, they know what those values look like. And it just happened to be packaged in you. And so it's like, I don't know, that's all I'm going to say for today. I just really want, it just popped up in my head. I wanted to come and have this conversation. Please let me know your thoughts below. I know my beliefs are very deeply rooted in biblical teachings and Christianity, as I am a Christian. I am a woman of God. There's no other way to be, and I love being this way. And it's a journey. We are growing. We are learning every single day. But let me know what you guys think. Even if you don't completely agree with everything that was said, we're open to learn. We're open to grow. We're open to conversate. We need to have these conversations. We need to be calling each other out on these things so we can be better people, period. And that's just that on that. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good night. It's night for me over here. If you're watching this in the morning, I hope you have a good morning and a good rest of your day. I hope you choose love today. Love yourself, love others, and greet your maker. Say hi to him. He's waiting to hear from you. Bye.